Hey everybody, it's Adam from SureContact. I'm going to take some time in this video to go over some new things that are going on. First, I'll go over some new things coming to the plugin as far as integrations go. Next, I want to go over some things that you might not be aware of that is in SureContact. And when I show you, you're going to be like, oh, that's great. I'm glad to know that. And then the third thing, I'm going to go over our roadmap of sorts. These are the main features that we will be releasing in the coming months, working on and releasing in the coming months. So let's start here. The next plugin update is going to bring lots of enhancements, but it's going to bring an integration with LatePoint. On this website, I have LatePoint installed, so you're going to get a global setting for LatePoint that you see right here. You can expand this, turn it on, and sync all customers into different lists and tags. All these options are here, but we also have unique individual options. So when you click on Add Integration, you'll see LatePoint listed there. And so we're integrating with services, the location feature, as well as coupons. This means adding tags, adding contacts to a list when these different things happen. So for example, if I choose service and I can select a specific service, let's do this haircut. Not that I need one. And then I click on select events. You can segment your contacts based upon all these different events that could happen with a booking. The same thing happens with location. You can choose specific locations if you have LatePoint set up for multi-location, and you get those same things. But instead of on a service level, you have it on an entire location level. And then lastly, coupons, and this would be tagging and segmenting in lists based upon coupon usage. Next, I want to show you some cool things inside of SureContact that you may or may not be aware of. And from listening to some of the things that are being asked, I think some of the things might not be so obvious, which is fine. And that's what we're going to do right now. So when you add your SMTP service right here to SMTP, there's actually some really cool things you could do here. So it doesn't all have to be for connecting to some big sender like Amazon SES or Postmark or something along those lines. You could use the email service with your web hosting. Typically, they come with limits. Now, this wouldn't work if you have big email lists and you're constantly sending emails, because they have limits. But for example, my email service, I believe the limit is, I think it's something like 3,000 emails per hour or something like that. And you can configure those limits in here when you select an SMTP service. So if you have a smaller list, it'll just go out based upon what those limits are, and you can define them. So if I, for example, click on Add Configuration, and let's just say, I'm just put Amazon here, but you can use just any SMTP service. When you scroll down, it says your daily limit and your hourly limit, and you can leverage those options in order to, you would actually choose custom SMTP for that. So if it was like cPanel includes email, they'll have limits that you can use in sending emails through it. Anyways, you would use the daily limit and the hourly limit. So if it's a small business, say it's like a client of yours, small business, maybe they have 3,000 people on their email list, and their SMTP service that comes with the hosting already lets you send 1,000 or 2,000 emails per hour. Well, just go in here and don't use the max, use a little bit of less, and you can send emails out that way. That's pretty cool. Also, when you've set up your email service, for example, I have Amazon set up here. There's these icons here, and the first one says View Webhook URLs. So with Amazon specific, you go in and you could tell Amazon if an email gets sent and it bounces, meaning there's really no email recipient server, and it bounces back, send a notification to this webhook right here, and SureContact will receive that, and it will change the status of that contact to bounced for you. So this is where there's a two-way communication between SureContact and your SMTP service. This is pretty standard with all of the different ways of sending emails that they would notify you back with these webhook URLs for bounces, for spam, or for when the recipient marks it as spam or files a complaint. And so all that can sync back into SureContact for you. However, like with Amazon, what ends up happening is they keep a suppression list in their service. So if you send an email and that email bounces, even if you don't have the notifications coming back, Amazon creates a suppression list for you. So the next time you try to email that contact, it won't go through. It'll be suppressed. It won't actually get sent. So that's really cool right there. There's some stuff in email templates that I want to tell you briefly. I just recorded a 20-minute video on email templates, but there's a couple of quick things I'll go to. So here, let me create a quick email template. I'm going to choose one from the library. Why don't I just choose this one right here? It's going to add it to our template builder. We built this from scratch, which is awesome because we can make whatever improvements. But when you use an email template, perhaps as a starting point, there's a couple cool things. First, you would choose right here where it says styles, and make sure at the top you've clicked on template root. And we've got our styles here. You don't have to click and change styles here. You would just change it here and it changes everything in the email. You could add the button style, the typography, the spacing. You do it here and it applies to everything inside of this email design. That makes it so much easier. So that's one tip. The other tip is you can click on individual elements or entire sections. So I've just clicked on this entire footer right here. And you might not be used to this with other email builders, but we built this from scratch and we're thinking, how do we save time? How do we do this efficiently? So you can click on anything in here and you get these options here to the left, and one of them says save to assets. So I can design the most perfect footer for me and for my business, customize the links. It's just beautiful, a thing of beauty. Well, I can save it as a reusable component that I can use across all of my emails, and we take it a step further. You can toggle this on right here where it says synced block. And what that means is if you update the style in one place, it's going to update everywhere. So if you want to change a little bit of the wording, you don't have to go into every single email template and update it like you might have to with other email tools. No, if you just use this synced feature, you update it one time and it propagates everywhere automatically for you. This is because we have like a deep background in website building, so we know how useful this concept is of components, and so we brought it into the email builder that we built from scratch. And then what you do is you just go here where it says assets on the left, and it's going to list them all out. So you just drag and drop it into your email. It's synced whenever you make a change. So we built that as well. Let's see, that's like the main goodies in here. You can drag and drop, click and change anything that you need to change in here. So I guess that brings us to kind of our main roadmap items. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just the main items that we are working on and the order with which we will be working on them on. Of course, we have multiple developers, so we're doing some of these things all in parallel. So when you first release a new product and people start using it, they're going to report some quick improvements. They're going to report some quick things that need to be fixed. And so usually that first 1 or 2 weeks, you're addressing some of these things. For example, we had a suggestion, I think 24 hours ago, that said we should have it be when someone clicks on the unsubscribe link, it's a one-click unsubscribe, not a click and then click again. And so we implemented it, and that user is right, and we're thankful for these kinds of suggestions. So we're doing lots of those things. This is what we've got right here. First thing coming up is double opt-in. You guys have been mentioning it. We've already built it. We're just testing. We're doing a lot of the testing with it, and we will have it out this week. The next one is oh, that is not what I wanted. Let me go back there. Okay, so we got translations here. So for translations, there's two sides to this. There's the contact-facing items, that would be the unsubscribe page and the preferences page, those are already translated. So what happens is when they click unsubscribe or manage the preferences and they go to that page, what happens is we check the language set in their web browser and we'll display it in their language for them. So that all happens automatically. The other side of translations is the platform. When you log in, or if you're an agency and you're creating workspaces for your clients when they log in. We've already been working on that, the platform being translated. And so what we have to do there is we've already done the work for the translations. We're putting the translations in now, but what we know from our own experience, then we have to go in and literally look at every single string to make sure we've translated every single string, text string. So it's going to just take a little bit longer. My guess is it'll be in February. Contact-facing translations are there right now. That would be just for you or your clients. Okay. Then we're also working, obviously, on our SMTP service. There's a lot of work that goes into this. It's not just the sending of the emails. There's a whole bunch of things that are involved there to check emails before they go out, to make sure there's not spam content and things like that to protect from the bad actors out there. Then we're going to be working on email sequences. Actually, let me back up. SMTP service, like 2 months. Then we have email sequences. This is something that several people have brought up. It's a way of sequencing emails together, perhaps with a delay, and it's sort of like an evergreen thing where you get a new contact, you could put them into the first email in that sequence, and then they'll just receive all those emails. You can continue adding emails to them, and we'll also make it easy so you can visually drag and drop to change the order of them as well. We've had some great help from some of you guys showing us the best implementation of that. I think was from Kit, and we're going to do the same. So we've got email sequences that will be worked on. And then after that, probably summer, maybe late summer, depending on how some of these other items go, we're going to do SMS. So this will be you adding a Twilio account to it, and that's how the SMS texts will go out. You'll be able to send SMS blasts. You'll be able to have SMS inside of the workflow builder as well. Now, if you didn't hear the thing that you wanted just now, that doesn't mean we're not working on it. We have a lot of manpower. We're doing lots of things in parallel. These are just the really big items that we're going to knock out and the order with which we're going to knock them out. For example, I didn't mention filtering, e-commerce filtering, and segmenting and targeting. That doesn't need a big item of its own. We're going to just do that with all these other things that we're doing. So a lot of the smaller things that you might be asking for or want to see, they'll just come in between all of this. Right now, we're just wrapping up this early bird offer. It'll probably be all finished up in the next couple of days. Thanks for all of you that have joined. We're so excited for what we're building and being able to look and build with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective. So thank you, everyone. Sit tight. We've got so much on the way.